Hey everybody, happy, Friday the 13th. Um, I heard I have exciting personal news, not like anybody's following or listening, but you are today. Exciting personal news, cliffhanger. Fun fact, I heard, I forgot where, but it was like the nifty little fact about the number 13 that it's the only number that has like almost a lot of lore and myth surrounding it that is in both like positive and negative directions. Like 13 can be a lucky or unlucky number. And I thought, man, that's really cool. That's true. Um, and I love numbers, although I hate math, even basic math perplexes me. So that's a fun little fact about the number 13. So happy Friday the 13th, and it's right before Valentine's Day. It's like a corporate horror day, with less than pure intentions. And life update, I finally pulled the plug, so to speak, and filed for divorce. I felt like I was in the process of a separation and the process of a divorce. Here's my emotional support angel, Mazzy. Like just on cue, he knows. Pets are the best. Cats are so intuitive. Dogs are so intuitive. It's just beautiful. Man, like it's so cool. But yeah, I had known that I had to do it. Like in my gut, in my heart, in reality, like the situation, I knew last April, obviously not, it's not been multiple Aprils, but coming up on a year that this is what was going to happen. But it was truly like the hardest thing that I've ever done. And that surprised me because I've done a lot of hard things, a lot of difficult things. And it just took a level of like fortitude that I felt really stuck and like I was living in a corpse because of a relationship and a corpse of a situation. And like I really felt like I was in purgatory because I knew what was happening. I knew it had to happen. And it was such a knowing, like I said, in my gut. No one's ever said, man, my gut was wrong about that one. Shouldn't have listened to my gut. Literally never been said. How is that? How does our gut know? It has something to do with the soul. That's what I do know. But yeah, so I knew in my heart of hearts, in my gut, that it had to be done. But I just couldn't do it. And I have been saying, before Christmas, well, actually, no, before Thanksgiving, I was like, I have to file before Thanksgiving. And then I was like, I have to file before Christmas. And then, I was like, well, I'll do it after because it's Christmas. And, after in that week between Christmas and New Year's, and it still took me, all of January to really do it because it was so, I don't know what it was. I guess it was as sad as it was and as imperative as I knew that it was to, this is what has to be done. It was terrifying really to think about. And, because it's just like, I can't even fathom at all how it's going to look or how it's going to go down, or, I just couldn't even envision it. And, I felt sadness when I filed. And then I also was, as it was happening, it was deep sorrow. I can't freaking afford a lawyer right now. Not that I would even want to, but yeah, I would if I could, just for the paperwork, because I was handed this like booklet of paperwork. It's ridiculous. Like any any two jackasses can get married on a whim, but when you want to get divorced, it's like, they need like 10 pounds of flesh to even like get this ball rolling. So which was honestly like a form of like a humiliation ritual, or like some type of torture or something, that you have to fill out this packet about the dissolution of who you thought was going to be forever in your life. But I also was like, it was empowering to do it. And it kind of made me think, like, God, if I just like continue to choose myself and to bet on myself, that is a winning decision every single time. And that's life, just choosing yourself. And I kept wondering, why is this such a hard thing for me? Why is it so hard? It's not just the sadness. It's not just the fear of the unknown. It was so deep. It was like the ultimate showdown was me, myself, and I. Like I was against myself and every instinct in me, like I'm such a creature of habit. The known, the romantic nature in me, I'm just like a relationship person. I'm not quick to give up. I'm loyal to a fault. It just all was like, God, this like ultimate showdown of what I had to do. And really, I think what made it so difficult for me, and it was such a journey to get to this place of, yeah, I'm actually doing this now, was because it's always been so difficult for me to choose myself. And I think some of that has to do with kind of like the Achilles heel of my life was like worthiness and self-worth. It was really easy for me to see in others what felt nearly impossible for me to feel myself. Um, and so it was like really hard for me to choose myself versus saying, well, taking on their shit and their baggage and his shit and his baggage. And I had heard from a tarot reader that it was like blocking both of our blessings, because he couldn't grow and get the growth, and I can't grow and get the growth as long as we are at this dead end of a relationship and not going to change and do what needs to be done. I think I mentioned that before, but it just, all these like facts and stuff, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't make it any easier to do what needs to be done. And so, yeah, that's the update of the day. I am officially, you know, going to be divorced, and God, I feel so much better. I do. I feel sad. It felt surreal. Yes, today's the second day since this happened. It felt very surreal. I have like cat hair right there in my face. It's tickling. But it feels good because I chose myself, and like I consciously said, I'm going to listen to my inner knowing. I'm going to listen to like my spirit, my soul, my gut. I'm choosing myself, and I'm not choosing someone else, and I'm not choosing someone else or something else in place of myself. And that is what I have done like the majority of my life. And that's what I was taught to do. And I think a lot of us are taught to do that, to kind of like, I don't know if it's just a woman thing or if it's just, I don't know, a humanity thing, the powers that be, if that's part of it for men too, just in a different way. But I know for women, it's true. Like many women are taught to kind of be like the fixer, or to just like absorb, because because we're emotionally stronger, that we can like absorb kind of the weight of someone else's, journey or trauma or whatever. And I was started like, I didn't want to hurt him, even though it was hurting me to be in this relationship. And he was hurting me, not physically, not mentally or emotionally or any other. It wasn't abuse or anything like that. But I'm just saying, I was in a dead end corpse of relationship with someone who had violated, and once again, not violated in a creepy way, but just, I couldn't trust him the way that I I would have never married someone that I couldn't trust. And it turns out that he turned into, you know, like a couple of years ago, someone that I couldn't trust, and that our values didn't align. And it's okay to say, yeah, that this doesn't work for me. This isn't going to work, you know? And I'm just like so okay. If I'm single forever, you know, I'm going to be in a better relationship than what I was in, because I'm going to be in a relationship with myself. And that's what I keep telling myself. Like, if I just continue to choose myself, that's a winning situation, you know? And that's what I just never did. I was always factoring in someone else's comfort, or, you know, trying to like fix them, or not even fix them, but just like be fill in the gaps like in their soul or whatever. And you know, that's just like such a typical codependent thing. Like, you know, emptiness attracts emptiness, addicts attract addicts, like attracts like. And you know, that's why so many like codependents and like empathic people, empathetic people, sensitive people, and intuitive people are often attracted to like raging fucking narcissists and sociopath, and just really general pieces of shit, because it's like, I don't know, it's like opposites attract and like attracts like. So, you know, the holes in my soul are reflected by the holes in their soul, and it's just like, oh, a perfect shitstorm. But, you know more. And like part of like feeling that healing journey of just self-love and filling the holes in my soul, like just by kind of acknowledging the hurt, or the pain or whatever, you know, that's a big thing, is just like acknowledging the growth that still has to be had, and the hurt that is still there, and being okay with that pain, but also saying, you know, I am whole enough. I am healed enough. I said that in another video, and I found it incredibly helpful. A lot of the meditation and like the mantras and stuff, they had sayings that just didn't feel quite right to me, which is like, I am healed, happy, healthy, wealthy, whatever. It just felt kind of like, oh, you know, am I? But when I started to put enough after whatever, I am healed enough, I am whole enough, I am worthy enough, it fits. That's funny. Like, maybe I'll end on this. Bashar actually, in like one of his little, you know, one of his channeling sessions, Bashar said that that is a great mantra to begin and end the day on, like before you go to sleep. And when you wake up in the morning, just saying 3 times, morning and night, I am who I am, and I am enough. And I love that, you know, because that's like the bottom line. It's kind of like Ho'oponopono, you know, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, or the serenity prayer, you know, accept what I cannot change, change what I can, and the wisdom, i.e. the discernment, you know, to see with your third eye, which is really, from what my understanding, to see with like, you know, the wisdom of your heart. What is the difference with all this, you know? And so choose yourself. Your gut, like, is, it's like hard to listen to your gut, but maybe it doesn't have to be so hard, you know, because it's never wrong. Never wrong. And when I get those gut feelings, like, I'm trying now to consciously, like, even in small things, so it's easier to do. Like I just said, this has been like a months long process, almost a year, for me to like actually follow through on this major decision, even though I knew it back in April. But like with little things with my gut and discernment, just with like even like Mark Laida, with the soft white underbelly, when he did the Whitaker videos, like when I first saw the Whitakers, I was like, what the hell is this? I heard the Whitakers before I saw it. And it was actually my soon to be ex-husband was watching it, and he was like, oh my God, look at this. And I went in the living room, and I was like watching it, and my stomach sank, my heart sank, and just in my gut, I was like, oh no. But, I told myself, I was like, no, he's trying to help. He's trying to do a good thing. Um, but I have some feelings about that too. Maybe I'll talk about the Whitakers more in depth in another video, but I don't know. That's just kind of like an update of major life changes. And side note, as soon as I did that, no movement on the job front. And I'm not talking about like, a job that I want to settle for, but I've had some really close calls with like jobs that could be careers and stepping stones in like recovery in the counseling space or whatever. And 2 days ago, today's day 2 of filing. Today, out of nowhere, I get an email and it's like, oh, hey, I saw that you reached out. Please send us your resume. And I did that. And I was like, wow, that's like, talk about confirmation from the universe. Choose yourself. And the universe is like, yeah, I bet, in a good way, finally. So y'all have a good night.